Halo Infinite official news, release window, multiplayer map, and more. Everyone stay tuned. This video is going to be a juicy one. Hello everybody, my name is Tyler, and yes, this is not a drill. There is actual Halo Infinite news. The higher level Halo Infinite update released about, as I'm recording this, maybe about 15 hours ago, and I have it for you all right here. And it actually starts off with Joseph Staten. Oh, sorry, actually, as I'm reading this now, 20 hours ago. Joseph Staten is the one who introduced us to us, so let's read. Hey everyone, I'm Joseph Staten. If you've been a long time part of the Halo community, you may already know me. If you're new to the community, hello, it's great to meet you. I was part of the Bungie team who made Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo Reach. I came up on the design side of these projects, wearing many different hats over the years, including writer, cinematic director, creative director, even voice for the grunts. Which I didn't know that, so there we go. After each shift, I became a Halo fan, cheering on 343 Industries from the sidelines, but I've spent the last 4 months immersing myself back into the Halo universe, and it's my honour as creative director to help our team ship Halo Infinite in fall 2021. Yep, that's when the game is coming out, and from now until then, every one of us at 343 Industries and our great partner teams, we will be building, testing, and polishing an experience we hope all of you love. Wow. Okay, guys, before we get any further, it's confirmed. Fall 2021. Now, if you're me, from the UK, if you're a fellow UK British person, then you might know what fall is, but the 4 months, for those of you who don't know, are September, October, and November. Which means that my video about the prediction of Halo Infinite's release date could very well be true. The video will be showing up on the little eye up on your screen right now if you want to check that out. But man, it feels good knowing that we have an official release window for this game and we now know when this game's coming out. Hopefully no more delays, and I don't think there will be any, because we'll be getting into that later on in the video, but for now I'm just so happy that Halo Infinite's actually got a release window. Here we go. Okay, so moving on. I joined 343 right as the team was wrestling with feedback from the July campaign demo. This discussion boiled down to one fundamental truth. We needed more time to do things right. That included pushing hard in the fall, giving the team time to recharge over the holidays and then come back in January to finish the game at a healthy pace. Because Halo Infinite in the fall of 2021 is just the beginning of the adventure. I'll be back at the end of the update for some closing thoughts, but for now, Brian, take it away. So what that also confirms, guys, is that literally the Halo Infinite was, in fact, what he says right there, was delayed mostly because of the fact Halo Infinite was mostly pushed back because of the feedback, what happened with the July demo, which a lot of people from 343, well, a lot of leakers and insiders were saying that it wasn't really to do with the feedback. But and of course, the unsayable word on YouTube also had an effect on that, and of course it did. Of course, everyone's been affected by this, and that obviously did play a part in it. But we'll get into more things about that later on. So we then go on to the graphics and graphics update. Thanks, Joseph. In the months since our campaign demo, the team has been heads down working on everything from lighting to fog to wear and tear on Spartan armor, as you'll see further below. We know the community has been eager to hear about and see the improvements and progress the team has made since July. Today, we're joined by a few members of our art and graphics team to talk shop. So guys, the first screenshot that I want to show you guys. Okay, so guys, further on down in the thing, we now see this. Back in July, our teams pulled together a slice of representative gameplay that introduced fans to the expansive nature of this new ring world, and we got the first look at Master Chief using the grapple hook, and various weaponry to take on the Banished. Despite excitement around the gameplay, we knew we had plenty of work left to do on the art and graphics side. Can you speak a bit about the demo and the team's perspective, NH? The primary goal for the campaign demo in July was showing Halo Infinite gameplay for the first time. While that aspect generally landed as we wanted, the reality is that the art and visuals weren't at the bar we hold for Halo, even in a work-in-progress state. Much of the feedback we heard from the community aligned with our own views and work we were already committed to doing around things like indirect lighting, material response, foliage, and tree rendering, clouds, level of detail transitions, and character fidelity. Still, the feedback was humbling, and it also pushed us to look at additional opportunities for improvement. And that's interesting because a lot of people were saying about I personally did not like the hexagonal looking walls where they looked very shiny and they didn't look Forerunner to me, and I'm really hoping that they do something there, even if they just add a little bit more detail to make them less flat. Anyway, moving on, it really is a privilege to work on a Halo game. We have such a strong community who care so deeply about the Halo franchise and who we can always rely upon to provide valuable feedback on every aspect of our products. It's not simply easy to hear, but we truly appreciate the community's we truly appreciate the community's passion, which drives us to do better. I'm enjoying this so much I can't even say words correctly. July was indeed a very much work-in-progress slice of the technology, and a reasonable set of key features from global illumination and dynamic time of day to GPU-driven rendering and variable rate shading were all in active development. Much of the graphics team's capacity, along with that of some key technical artists, was focused on achieving high resolution and performance leading up to the demo, which meant several of these features didn't quite get the level of polish and bug fixing that was warranted. Visual fidelity is a very important goal for Halo Infinite, and the graphics and art team have been continually aspiring and working closely with each other to create the best looking Halo game ever. I definitely want to acknowledge the input that we got from the Halo community and our fan base. Staying open to critical feedback and looking at areas where we can learn and do better is an inherent part of our culture at 343. So that is very, very interesting. Again, they're heavily talking about how this July gameplay demo was very heavily focused on by the fans, and the reason why, of course, we all reacted to it quite unanimously of, hey, the gameplay looks good, but ooh man, these visuals. And even 343 agrees, and they actually go on later in this to talk about, the Craig meme. So, by the way, guys, if you want to read this article yourself, I'll put a link down in the description so you guys can go check it out, because I'm only taking the key bits of juicy information from this, but it's a really good read, the whole thing. It really does give you an idea of how 343 genuinely does care about Halo, which I know there's been a lot of people saying that, oh, they don't. But there's actually a pretty big bombshell that we'll get to at the end of this, and it's quite big. Okay, so moving on to the next screenshot. Moving on to the next bit of the blog post. There's no denying that the return to a classic art style immediately evokes the unmistakable look and feel of Halo. When it comes to visual fidelity, the team has been making progress since July, as we can see in some of the latest images we're sharing here today. Can you talk about some of the specific areas the team has been working on? Here we go. On the graphics technology front, we have made improvements along with fixing bugs that were inherent to some of the techniques, as well as iterating and polishing the features that were still in development. Some of the key areas of progress include better quality of global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, basically just better lighting. I'm not going to read the whole thing of that one. And basically they go on to say here, guys, that this is what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to make a lot of things look different. For example, right here, they say that they want to improve environments, lighting, weapons, and effects. Because I know a lot of people pointed to the assault rifle and the Mangler? I think it was called the Mangler, yeah, the Mangler. They looked really undetailed, but then in the later campaign trailer, they looked a lot more detailed and worn and torn, so, interesting. We've improved some of our materials to get more specular response. More wear and tear on weapons and vehicles, there you go, more fidelity in our characters, and more macro breakup on large surfaces like rocks, terrain, and the hex walls. Okay, so they actually do confirm about the hex walls, so the hex walls are going to look better in the final game, which I'm really glad about. I'm kind of sad that they don't show us what it looks like I'm kind of sad that they don't show us. I'm kind of sad that they don't show us what it's going to look like in this blog post, but it is better. We are also now getting more of our textural detail coming through to the final frame thanks to a sharpening process that our graphics team have added. This helps offset some of the natural blurring of temporal anti-aliasing, and it certainly helps our assets shine. We're eager to show the progress the team has made in the campaign as soon as we can, but we want to make sure we have all the right pieces coming together, and this can be tricky. with a lot of moving parts and expansive world of this scope. Ooh, we know everyone is keen to see more, and we look forward to sharing more in the future updates in the months ahead. Again, guys, they really have it, because this is another big topic of debate. We don't know if Halo Infinite is going to be an open world game or a very open and expansive level-based game, where each level feels so big it might as well be an open world. But again, throughout this blog post, you'll see a lot of the wording they're using really does hammer home, especially in the end with that bombshell I'll be talking about soon. It really does hammer home that this game is going to be free roam. Alright, so moving on to the next section of the blog post that I find very interesting. Speaking of improvements on the art content side, one big outcome from our demo was the emergence of our now world-renowned Craig. While we in the internet have come to love dear Craig, we know he wasn't at his best self back in July. Can you give us any updates on Craig as he stands today? So yeah, guys, Craig, for those of you who have been living under a stone, not even a rock, just a stone, Craig was the result of when you froze the brutes' faces at a certain point in the trailer. They have no facial animations and they look very just deadpan stared. And then it became several memes. Like one of my favorite ones is the chalky milk meme. So anyway, here we go. Firstly, I can confirm that the facial animation on NPCs was not fully implemented in that build, which resulted in Craig's incredibly deadpan, lifeless look. All characters are modeled in a neutral pose. Yes, they are. This is just true for game design in general. Prior to the blend shapes and animation being applied. So, poor old Craig was never intended to be seen in that condition, which is not something that was evident during the gameplay. It was only later in the close-up freeze frame of this one bad moment where it came to light and the legend of Craig was born. Someone should make a Legend of Craig. Someone seriously make a Legend of Craig animated series. I'd watch that. I'd pay £5 to watch that per episode. Not even joking. There's been further work done on the material fidelity and more variety added for Brute's faces. We're also working to add some hairdos and beards, which was something we hadn't gotten to in July. So whilst we have come to love our dear old Craig, he's certainly undergoing a significant makeover. Craig isn't the only model to see improvements though. There have been significant changes to other characters and 3D models as we continue to evolve and polish our content, some of which can be seen in the Spartan and weapon renders being shared today. You saw that in the thumbnail, guys. We're getting to that, but oh my god! Okay, this was another thing that people were talking about in the initial trailer. Of course, Craig, the brutes had no facial. They just looked they just look like hairless apes. Now, I know brutes have changed ever since Halo 2. They changed from Halo 2 to Halo 3. Reach. I think Reach is where they really looked hairless and they kind of just looked like big piles of meat that were big and muscly, I guess. But they're going to be adding beards and like just giving that's just... Because again, I see the brutes in the Halo 2 anniversary cutscenes and those brutes are amazing. Even the brutes from Halo 2, Halo Wars 2 look amazing. So they have confirmed there, but they also say other models. Now I'm hoping that also includes the pilot from the... If you watch the first 10 seconds of seeing the pilot on the gameplay demo, the pilot's face to me, I don't know what it was, but either his eyes or his hair, something just looked off about that model for that scene. But then after that scene, after he wakes up from being unconscious, he looks perfectly fine. So there we are then. Guys, I'm genuinely really, really excited for this. This is again the big level update that we were all waiting for. Okay, continuing on. In today's update, we're providing the first glimpses of an interior space via one of our Halo Infinite work in progress multiplayer maps. Because yes, guys, we've actually got some bit of multiplayer news. There's a lot of news in here, guys. Like I said, this video is going to be so long, and I'm so sorry if you're still sticking around. I really do appreciate it. I know this is a long video, and I know the mic quality is really terrible. I'm being upfront with you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around, so that's great. So, moving on with the next part of this blog post. So look, multiplayer maps from content and graphics perspective. How is the approach similar and different when it comes to the look and feel of these more intimate traditional spaces versus the open and expansive outdoor environments? From a graphics technology perspective, the majority of the rendering pipeline and rendering techniques are shared between interior and exterior spaces. Very similar shading models, shadowing algorithms, and post-processing are effects in either case. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this, guys. Basically, they're just talking about how detailed these maps are going to look, and you can see from the screenshots I've got up on screen now how beautiful these maps are going to look. They're going to look really nice. I don't know what this map is called. They haven't given us a name, but it looks really, really nice. So, moving on with the next section of the blog post. I have to go through my screenshots. Seeing a lot of pillars that prioritize the player's experience definitely makes me happy, both as a community manager and as a fan. One thing you mentioned that stood out to me though was some things may change because Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to be free to play. We've touched on it lightly before and it's been a pretty big question in the community. But will that apply to customization? If so, how do you make those changes while staying true to your design pillars? Guys, this is in reference to the armor coatings situation, and I'll read it first and I'll see what you guys think after I've said it. This is a great question, and one we think about all the time. We see and hear the current concerns of the community, specifically right now around coatings, and we look to our system to make sure we're doing the right thing for both our players and their ability to represent themselves, as well as what is right for a free-to-play, service-driven title. Yes, being free-to-play does mean that there will be some premium cosmetics, but players will still obtain tons of customization content through things like playing campaign, challenges, skill, special events, legacy rewards such as the Halo 5 SR152 reward, the progression system, and more. That's a lot of info right there, guys, and we're not even done. Like, they've just confirmed that we're basically going to be getting rewards for basically everything we do in Halo Infinite, which is amazing. We will always provide value for pure engagement and simply playing the game. We believe that providing value isn't exclusive to monetary transactions. It's also about making sure you're properly rewarded for the time you're investing into the game. Players that play for free will be able to unlock items across a multitude of different customization types to allow them to represent themselves in-game. Halo 5 didn't do a great job at rewarding our most engaged players, SR152s. Yeah guys, you really didn't get anything for 152, you got an emblem. Like, wow, what a reward. So we've added a few tokens of appreciation in Halo Infinite to make up for that. Below you can see 2 of those tokens in the form of an exclusive armor coating and weapon coating. We've also used our learnings there to better structure the player rewards in Halo Infinite. And as you've probably seen on screen now, guys, these are some, because again they said few, but they're showing 2 out of a few tokens of appreciation. And the one you're seeing on screen now is the armor coating being used on a assault rifle and the Mark 7 armor. I like it on the assault rifle, I really don't like it on this piece of armor, but as you will see now on screen, this is what it looks like on a completely different armor set that we haven't seen before, and also on the battle rifle. Like, wow. I mean, guys, it just feels good knowing that we're actually, getting Halo and stuff, and we're actually seeing Halo Infinite stuff. Oh, and here's actually another set of armor, guys, coming up with this next screenshot, and a new armor coating, and also showing off the Bulldog shotgun in a little bit more of an angle. You mentioned coatings specifically, which have turned some heads over the past few weeks, so let's talk about those a little bit more. Can you elaborate on what coatings are and why they're in Halo Infinite? Yes, I think they definitely need to tell us what these things are, but they don't. Again, I'll read it. Yes, the coating system is something that the live team and our 3D artists designed directly after Halo 5, and is part of the overall customization picture. In previous Halo titles, we had a series of inputs that were simple RGBs in primary and secondary channels. For Halo Infinite, we didn't feel that the flat colors in a singular pattern were good enough. I would beg to differ, and a lot of other Halo fans would, but okay. The coating system allows us to define color, wear and tear, patterns, and material on a region-by-region basis on the Spartan, or anything in-game, be it armor, weapons, vehicles, or even environment elements like fuel barrels. Are we gonna have fuel barrel skins in Halo Infinite? Is that what they're getting at there? Moving on. To get to our design vision, we needed to make an exceedingly difficult decision to move away from a system that is in the game from the early days. Primary and secondary color. This decision was not made lightly, but it has made the foundation for greater detail and variation when it comes to color customization. See, now 343, this is what you told us the last time when you gave us the armor coding system to begin with, when you announced it. You didn't have to remove the color choices. All you guys had to do was just add these preset, armor coatings with different levels of detail and wear and tear and things like that, material, but then make the color customizations separate. Just have a tab where you can choose primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, and then have the armor coatings determine where your colors on the Spartan will be, and what material, how much wear and tear, that kind of thing. So anyway, let me move on to the next section of this blog post. In addition to getting better variation, we can also create coatings much faster than we could create weapon skins in Halo 5, which will allow for even better variation over time. That's a little shaky. Additionally, with coatings now being their own customization option, this is a key part, we can also use them as rewards for player accomplishments or even create bespoke ones for certain occasions. Again, saying that they're part of the progression system, which I believe, but still, it's pretty not okay. Lastly, coatings use smaller digital footprint and let us add new ones to the game without massive patches or taking up tons of disk space, which was a learning from Halo 5. Thank God. At least that's one good thing about armor coatings, apart from the whole, different patterns and the material and the wear and tear thing. Because I do like that about armor coatings. I just hate the fact that the colors are built in, as they've reiterated in this blog post. But the file size for Halo 5 is ridiculous. I think it is either 100 or it's nearly 100 gigabytes, and that's mainly due to not being able to compress files at a good rate. Moving on, we have looked at the system and we understand the concern in our recent value balancing pass, which was a direct result of community feedback around coatings. We have looked hard at how many coatings are in the starting set, and how many and of what quality are unlocked via engagement versus other systems. So guys, from the sound of things, armor coatings will be mostly unlockable. But if you want the really interesting ones, you're probably gonna have to pay for it, or you're gonna have to put in the hours. And I like that. I do like the fact that you can work for these things. I just don't like the fact that the colors are pre-selected. And 343 don't really seem to be backing down on separating the colors from the armor coatings, but just keeping the colors part of the armor coatings. Well, we'll see how that goes, because we still haven't seen multiplayer gameplay, and we still haven't seen what they look like in a customization menu, and we don't even know if they're going to be one-time use either. That's another thing. Coatings are one part of the customization picture, but we feel all up. We will hit our goal to player representation by offering more possibilities across the entire system. While this does mean losing some player control, it increases the depth of customization that we can achieve internally that you can ultimately show off publicly. Yeah, but that's the thing though, people really love having control over what they look like. In making something that is also player expressive, you're making something that is also not player controlled enough. You're taking away player control, which player control is player expression. So, I mean, hey, it could be good, guys, it could be good. We still haven't seen much of this. Ooh, okay, this is the next part of the blog post. Thank you for providing some extra insight there. I'm excited to see how the coding system can benefit armor, weapon, and vehicle customization. Now, speaking of armor customization options, we've teased Halo Reach levels of armor customization. Before you can tell us what that actually means in regards to Haloinfinite armor? Oh, can you tell us what that actually means in regards to Haloinfinite? One way to look at inventory systems is to look at their breadth? How do you pronounce that word? Okay, and depth. Okay. How many things can I customize and how many choices within it do I have? Reach allowed the player a lot of individual customization types on a single armor suit, with each type having many options. We knew that we had to return to that level, but also do more. To me, Reach customization is both the options: helmet, helmet attachment, left shoulder pad, right shoulder pad, as well as a number of individual assets. Going on down to the next part of Blogtown, which is... I love it! I knew the team was cooking up some awesome stuff, but I was still really impressed when I saw all these options for the first time. The best part is that we were only talking about armor customization there. You've been working to add deeper personalization elsewhere as well, right? Are you able to elaborate on those right now, too? Ooh, this is where it gets interesting! As Chris mentioned, we're going to be vague for a bit longer. Damn you, 343. Just know there's still tons to talk about between now and our launch next fall. We're showing some cool Spartan customizations and armors in this update, but we're not done showing players what they can do there. Likewise, players have seen coatings for weapons and vehicles. They know about that, but that's not all they'll be able to customize there either. And then there's things that don't fall into those three areas that players will be able to get via engagement and premium paths too. We have a lot to talk about! When it's time for the hype train to leave the station, we'll be sure we're on it. A briefcase full of information and screenshots. I think I lost the metaphor. Alright then, keep your secrets. For now. I know we'll get to chatting about everything the live team has been working on in due time, and in even greater depth. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with us. Are there any closing words that you'd wish to impart to the community before we wrap up? And this is when they do go on and talk about how grateful they are for the Halo community, and that they genuinely are trying to make a good game, and Halo is a massive deal to them, and they do care. And I believe the Halo Infinite will be good, and I know that they do care. But at the very end of the section here, they say to round up a little, no loot boxes, no randomness or items that influence the sandbox and gameplay. Again, guys, they are reiterating, no loot boxes, no randomness. So, none of what happened in Halo 5 with rec packs. None of that. Again, they are making some good decisions. It's just the color situation with armor coatings, man. They do go in here, by the way, guys. I don't know if I've got the screenshot up on screen now, but they do talk about the fact that everything from Halo Reach, and I mean everything, will be there. Everything from Halo Reach's armor customization system will be there, and they said more. So visor color, utility, knee pads, the wrist mounted thing, everything. They didn't say about firefight voices or armor effects, but I would imagine that those would probably make it into the game as well. As if firefight is in the game, I would assume it would make sense. Come on, big 3. And moving on to the end, where Joseph Staten comes back and gives us the big old... This is the wow factor. This is literally the end part of the blog which I was telling you about. I'm fortunate to have worked with incredibly talented teams my whole career. The Infinite team is no exception. Folks here don't just understand Halo, they love the core gameplay and characters and community. Everything that makes Halo, Halo. Just as much as I do. And, like me, they also feel a deep responsibility to serve. We aren't making this game for us, we're making it for you. Starting with this update, we're going to be sharing more about what we're doing and, most importantly, why we're doing it. So here are a few things I'd like to share. Here we go. My first week on the job, I played the entire Halo Infinite campaign twice. I was, in a word, stunned in the best possible way by what the team had done. Infinite is by far the most expansive and vertical Halo world ever. Why did the team do this? Because they understand that wonder and freedom are the key to a Halo experience. I could feel the classic Halo 30 seconds of fun beating at the heart of Infinite's world. But I had never felt more powerful, more mobile, more in command of a rich set of tactical choices. This was the Halo we imagined back in 2000, finally come to life after 20 years of technical and creative innovation. Sure, there were bugs in the build and clearly more work to do, but this concept art by Martin Deschambault? Deschambault. I really hope I'm not saying that wrong, I probably am, I'm sorry. One of many incredible pieces he's made for the game. I cut it off in the screenshot, guys, but it is genuinely beautiful. If you want to check out the blog, you can see it for yourself, and you can see how beautiful that actually is. And Joseph Staten's ending words are this. It encapsulates all the excitement and curiosity and joy I felt on my first journey through Zeta Halo. The most mysterious, dangerous, and possibly rich place, and possibility-rich place in the entire Halo universe. Everywhere I looked, I saw choices. Guys, this is what I was talking about. That first thing about Joseph Staten loving this campaign, being, shocked by it twice, that's the first thing. The second thing is this, is how he's heavily emphasizing that this world is really open, and it's probably going to be an open world. Do I explore off the Golden Path? Assault that banished warbase guarding the Valley Pass? Follow a flight of Forerunner Sentinels into that unexpected cavern? Rescue a squad of Marines dug in and desperate halfway up that mountain? Or do I keep pulling the mainline story thread that feels epic and intimate at the exact same time? Truly, Halo Infinite is a world in which I love spending time, and I'm thrilled to return to, both as a designer and a player. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for your patience and your passion. We can't wait for you to join us on the Halo Infinite adventure, first with Insider Flighting next year, and then we ship in fall 2021. In the meantime, I hope all of you have a restful holiday season. We'll catch you in the new year. Guys, my voice hurts from all that. Oh my god. Guys, there's so much to take away from all of this. There's so much to take away from every single bit of what I've just talked about. Guys, I mean, I'll probably have a discussion video talking about all this later on, but what do you guys think? I mean, if you've made it this far, I seriously really appreciate it. I know going through a long video like this is very hard for people to do, but I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope that you will actually consider subscribing and liking. And I'm not asking you to. Well, I am, but I'm not begging, is what I'm saying. And I need to lay down, because guys, there's been so much in this blog post to think about. So guys, I hope you're having a good holiday so far, despite everything going on in the world, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.